There's nothing like your smile, sorta subtle and perfect and real. He said, you never knew how wonderful that smile could make someone feel. He knew whenever you'd get bored, you'd scribble stars on the cuffs of your jeans. He noticed that you used to fill out those quizzes that they put in those teen magazines. But he kept it all inside his head. What he saw, he left unsaid. And though he wanted to, he couldn't talk to you. He couldn't find the way. He would always say, if I could tell her everything I see. If I could tell her how she's everything to me. We're a million worlds apart, and I don't even know how I would start. If I could tell her, if I could tell her. He thought you looked really pretty. You looked really cool when you put indigo streaks in your hair. He wondered how you learned to dance like all the rest of the world isn't there. He kept it all inside his head. What he saw, he left unsaid. If I could tell her everything I see. If I could tell her how she's everything to me. We're a million worlds apart, and I don't know how I would even start. If I could tell her, if I could tell her, but what do we do when there's this great divide? He just seems so far away. What do you do when the distance is too wide? It's like I don't know anything to say. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. But we're a million worlds apart, and I don't know how I would even start. If I could tell her, if I could. I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I leave with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window. Try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I Wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving?